Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you from your respective locations, wherever you may be around the world. This is the top story in international news. President Donald Trump has just made a request to the Europeans, a request that, unsurprisingly, is shaking up the Europeans. A request that resembles a complete disengagement on America's part regarding the resolution of the Russia-Ukraine situation. President Donald Trump, after bluntly telling the Europeans his truths, made a request to them, or at least gave them information about the position of the United States of America, right after his conversation with Vladimir Putin. I told you here that as the hours and days go by, we will come to understand the real substance of what happened during that phone call. And that's exactly what we're starting to see now. It must be said that the conclusion is that Vladimir Putin came out on top during the phone conversation. It's true, according to an advisor to Vladimir Putin's presidency or Putin on the phone, neither of the two wanted to hang up on the other. That's how interesting it had become. But interesting in what way? On another level, the level of trade, the level of geoeconomics, not on the level of Ukraine. The truth is, they barely even talked about Ukraine. Yet that was supposed to be the purpose of the call. So what is Donald Trump asking of the Europeans that is upsetting them so much? That's what we're going to talk about in this video conference, which I ask you to share as widely as possible right now. Share it as much as you can. So, according to official information, Donald Trump told the European leaders and Volodymyr Zelensky that Moscow and Kiev should find a way out of the conflict themselves. Both of them. No one else. Both sides must find a solution to the conflict. So, Donald Trump is basically asking the Europeans not to get involved or not to involve the United States, to let Russia and Ukraine resolve their issues, since it's their problem. So, this is what unsettles the Europeans, since they were relying much more on America to enforce very strict financial sanctions on Russia in order to pressure Russia to come around and submit to their demands. But here is what Donald Trump says: if it were only a matter of the United States withdrawing from the sanctions, that could be understood. But this looks much more like a total disengagement by America. It's as if America is now washing its hands of this problem. It's an admission of failure. Trump is smart. He understood that he has failed, since he himself, by bluntly telling the Europeans the truth, told them that Volodymyr Zelensky is someone who is illegitimate, not because Russia says so, but because he is illegitimate according to the Ukrainian constitution. He says that despite being illegitimate, Zelensky is someone with whom it is very difficult to negotiate. You can't negotiate with him, he's difficult. So he almost withdraws. Yesterday he said that he is sticking to his position, but it's a position he can't specify to the Europeans, since that could complicate the negotiations. But in the end, he understood that a decision absolutely needs to be made. So Donald Trump says that Kiev and Moscow should resolve their problems themselves. But he didn't say that America is washing its hands of the matter, or was washing its hands of it, I was about to say. So what can we deduce from this? Let's dive deeper, ladies and gentlemen. According to the New York Times, which cited sources, yes, 6 sources very close to the matter, the American president told European leaders and Volodymyr Zelensky that Russia and Ukraine should themselves find a solution to end the conflict. And so this is a stance that is causing concern, Still, according to the New York Times, Donald Trump has backed down from his own threats to join Europe in strengthening sanctions against Moscow. Yet he had said that if Moscow refused, he would sanction Moscow. But he himself has backed down from his own threat. What is happening? Initially, the plan was for him, Twadek, to get involved in resolving the issue, the conflict. But now, he says that it is up to both parties to find a solution to their problem. Yet, after all these years, the two sides have never been able to find a solution. There absolutely needs to be a mediator, someone who pushes for peace to return. And it doesn't stop there. He is backing down from his own threats. So, several European officials are interpreting this stance as a withdrawal. Thus, the theory of betrayal persists. They interpret this stance as a clear disengagement from Washington, which at this stage does not seem to be considering new financial measures against Russia. It must be said that this is a reversal on Donald Trump's part. And this reversal comes at a time when the European Union has hit Russia with the 17th package of sanctions on May 20th, just yesterday, May 20th, 2025. So, what needs to be said is that the European leaders who took part in a phone conversation with Trump after his call with Putin said they were struck. By the way, Trump presented the results of that call. They were struck. That is to say, they were very disappointed. Yes. Because of the way Trump presented it, he clearly told them the truth. To conclude, that both sides would need to find a solution to their problems. And you see, what Trump says on social media, in the media, and what he says on the phone are two different things. When they finished the conversation, what did Trump say? Trump said that negotiations would begin immediately. But on the phone, he said both sides need to find a solution to their problem. That means America doesn't care about it anymore. But meanwhile, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov announced that the memorandum proposed by Russia, which Ukraine and Russia should be working on, is very difficult to work on at the moment because the other side is making things difficult. That's what it means. So, everything is mixed up. Everything is mixed up. We are waiting to see an official statement or a formal declaration from Donald Trump definitively disengaging from the Russia-Ukraine situation. We are waiting to see. But for now, the information we are receiving comes from sources close to the matter. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that was the top international news story. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I'll be back with more news shortly. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.